lower back pain while you're walking. If you're suffering from lower back pain while you're walking and walking increase your pain, in this video, I'm going to share with you series of exercises and tips that can help you to maximize your recovery. One of the side effects of lower back pain is that while you start to move around, the area around your lower back and lumbar spine can hugely be protective and stiff, and that can hugely aggravate your symptoms. During walking, our lower back has to move towards more extension and slight flexion with each stride. If you're suffering from lower back pain, this coordination and movement can compromise and you do not get that simple coordinated flexion and extension in the lumbar spine, and your body become much more protective in this movement. That means that you need to regain that coordination and flexion and extension in your lumbar spine while you're creating those strides. In this video, I'm going to share with you a series of simple exercises that can hugely maximize your mobility and coordination around your lower back. Beside that, I'm going to share with you 3 important tips at the end of this video that you must follow for your recovery. All right, guys. If you're suffering from lower back pain and walking aggravate your symptoms, in this routine, I'm going to share with you a series of exercises that can hugely help you to elevate your pain. The first exercise is going to be posterior tilt. We want to get that back extension and flexion, train and get you practice this movement. By training this movement, you can hugely improve your coordination and help you to get back on walking much more comfortable. You're going to lie down on your back, and to give you a heads up, what we're trying to do, we're trying to use the hand to get more sensation, but I'm going to show you without the hand and you can practice it with the hand. There is a gap here in the lower back that sometimes that gap can be quite rigid, which means you can't really feel that gap. And that's the movement that we want to do, which means you can hold one hand on the belly and one hand on the lower back and try to apply pressure down to the arm. Hold it there for 5 seconds. Breathe in and out, and now you want to overarch your lower back, which means extend your back a little bit more. And back on it again, hold it there for 5 seconds. It is very important, guys, that you're bending your knee and you're relaxing your shoulder and you're breathing in and out while you're doing it. Now I'm going to take off my hands and show you without hand. We're going to go overextending, basically the back, and flexing it. That posterior tilt helps your pelvis to tilt posteriorly. Hold it there, breathe in and out, and now relax it. The more movement you create there, the better coordination that becomes. Practice this exercise daily for 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. Breathe in and out, and make sure that you're getting that gap up and down. The second movement that I'm going to share with you guys is simply back extension. Because when you walk, you go to a little bit more extension in your lumbar spine. You're going to practice that extension and gradually get you comfortable with this movement. Now, whenever you go to the extension, you got to come back to flexion, which means that simply help you to get more mobility around that area. The first phase is to be on your elbow and slightly push yourself off the ground, which means you're trying to come up. Now, if this is not comfortable, don't force it. Go within a comfortable range. Even being on your elbow here and going back down, that can be the start of it. When you got more comfortable with the movement, then slowly you can go for just a mini push-up. Don't hold it. You're going to go up, slow back down. Breathe in and out. You don't want it to shift your hip off the ground. You want to keep your hip always on the ground. Come up, slow back down. You get a lot of assistance from your hand. If you want to hold it for a few seconds, that's totally fine. This is the second movement that I would suggest you to try, which is, we call it mini push-up or back extension. Try it for 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions through the day as often as possible. Following movements that I'm going to share with you guys in this video is dead bug. Dead bug is the core exercise, but the reason that we're doing this is not only for your core, it's for your coordination. Coordination is hugely important in the lumbar spine, and while you're walking, you need to get this movement coordinated. Now, how are we going to do the dead bug? You're going to lie on your back. You're going to bring your knees to 90 degrees here, 90 degree here. Don't let this to come down. Keep it on 90 degree, all right? Now, while you're in that position, probably, most probably, your back is already in that flex position, which means your lower back is quite flat there, which means it's touching the ground. Now, if it's not, you want to make sure that you bring your knees a little bit higher up and get that gap completely gone. Now, that gap always got to be purely pushed down through the movement, right? Which means we never want to let your leg move forward and that gap come up. Yep? There's no gap while you're doing this exercise. You want to hold the knee in that position, hands come up. The first movement is to maintain that gap in the lower back, which means keep that pressure down, similar to posterior tilt, and tap one leg and change. Maintain that pressure, breathe in and out, change legs, and back up. Now, this is quite intense. If you've never done it before, you can really feel the pressure there that get challenged, and it actually challenges your core as well. Now, when you got more comfortable with this movement, you can try this with arm and the leg at the same time. Yep. While you maintaining that pressure. You want to breathe in and out. Try this gradually, just only with the leg. If you've never done it before, practice on that posterior tilt, maintaining that pressure on the lower back, and gradually progress it with both arm and leg. 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetition is more than enough, 2 to 3 times through the day. The following move that I'm going to share with you guys is going to be bear dog. Bear dog is kind of similar to dead bug, but you're on a quadruped position. Is a similar movement, which means you're trying to keep the back in a neutral position. Your lower back is not sink in a neutral position, which means you bring it to the posterior tilt, you hold it there straight, yep. Now we're trying to create this cube here, which means this is on 90 degree, and your hands is on the 90 degree, yep. Back nice and tall. What we're trying to do now, we want to do a single leg kick back while maintaining that basic flexion, which means the back is on the posterior tilt, hold it there, slow, maybe 2 repetitions on one side, then switch it to the right, breathe in and out, and practice this gradually to 3 sets of, let's say, 5 on each leg. When you got more comfortable with this movement, you can try the same thing with alternate arms and leg. This might take you maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Don't rush it. I practice this quite often. I still find it quite difficult. It takes time to get good in it. Coordination in that movement is hugely important. But while you're following this exercise, you can see hugely that your core strength improve, your coordination improve, and this can hugely help you to reduce your pain while you're walking. The following and the last exercise that I'm going to share with you guys in this routine is going to be posterior tilt and kind of like a dead bug movement, but progression of it. You may need some sort of medicine ball or normal ball or even a stick to hold on to. I leave the option up to you. I'm going to use the stick because you can find this at home and you can use it. Now, what we're going to do in this movement, we're going to use the stick. I'm going to show you what we're going to do and you can give it a try. Now, if you remember dead bug, you're going to lie on your back. The first movement is to go to the posterior tilt, hold that nice and tight, and you can bring the legs up. Now, what we want to try to do, we want to create some movement with the arm while we maintaining that posterior tilt, which means the first step is to just hold this bar. We're going to go back to tapping with the leg, breathing in and out, slow control. I've done this before. I feel comfortable, but I'm not letting this go up, yeah? As you can see. Now, if you got comfortable with that movement of tapping single leg, what you wanted to try, you want to start with moving the arm back. Now, to move the arm back, you have to open up your arms, keep them a little bit wider on the stick, and be able to maintain that posterior tilt and bring the arms back to the point that feels comfortable. Breathe in and out. Don't let this to go out of the posterior tilt. Keep it tight. and try that maybe for 5 repetitions. Then relax. If you find that is easy, that's going to take you a couple of weeks, guys. Be patient with it. Then you can add on moving one legs and arms at the same time. This is much more advanced, much more coordination, but you can do it with practice. Make sure that your breathing is there and you're not lifting this guy. Now, these are a series of exercises that you should practice daily, as I mentioned, for maximum recovery. And if you think this is really helping you, make sure to leave a comment underneath of this video and share with me your experience. The first tips that I would like to share with you guys is to create shorter steps or stride. By creating shorter stride, you give your lower back a chance to slowly get back to some sort of extension, and that can hugely help you to increase your mileage day by day. The second tips that I would like to share with you guys is to monitor your mileage and walking threshold. For example, many of you guys would like to do 10 kilometers of walking daily or 10,000 steps, but in reality, you may need to start with 2,000 steps, shorter stride, and gradually increase that mileage, maybe 10 to 15% daily. To just make this clear, this is just an example. You need to listen to your body and see how much is your threshold and work around that. The last tips, but one of the most important tips that I'd like to share with you in this video is consistency. Make sure to follow this exercise daily at least twice for optimum result. I hope you guys find this video helpful. If you need any help or guideline, you can leave me comments or you can book an online consultation with the link below and we can get you started right away. Before you finish, I would like to ask you for a favor. If you find this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to my channel for my weekly update and make sure to press that like button. If you have any friends or family who may get benefit from watching this video, please share this video with them. Until next week, all the best.